Thank you so much for helping with the peer tutoring program. France as the coordinator for the next term, and Bev and Tina as parents. That's wonderful. And we have a nice group, as you saw. For this session, we're going to talk about the evaluation, which comes after around 7 books that a child has read. Then the tutor will ask you to do an evaluation. So we'll go over the terms before we try to evaluate one of our students. So we call those errors misreadings, and there are 5 different types. Pronunciation. What do you think pronunciation would be as an error?
Would be a word that's read incorrectly?
Yes, like plume, plum. That would be a decoding error or pronunciation error. Répétition, repetitions.
When a word is repeated a couple of times?
Yes, and yeah, exactly. And repetitions could be 2 ways. A child makes a mistake and self-correct. Then it's a repetition as well, as long as they read it correctly the second time without the help of the parent or the teacher or the tutor. That's
so you mean repeating the same mistake over and over?
No, the child will do, a mistake. Let's say for the word take, he will say took, and then he will say take. So that means he repeated himself, he self-corrected.
Okay.
So that's a repetition. And also when you would say take, that's a repetition. Okay. There are 2 types of repetitions.
Okay.
Self-correction and real repetition, like repeating the same word 1 or 2 or 3 times. Okay. And substitutions, what do you think they are?
Adding other words in? Substituting words?
Yes, can you give me an example of that?
For maison, manteau, maybe?
Yes, exactement. The word starts with the same letter or has a few letters the same. But sometimes there are substitutions that are completely different than the word written, but the meaning is similar. So there are meaningful substitutions, or sometimes there are substitutions because of the similarity of the words.
So sometimes the substitution can be okay, like it makes sense in the text. Yeah.
But it's still an error.
It's still an error.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's you can qualify that as the student reads for meaning if he substitutes a word for another word that makes sense in the context. Okay. And omissions, what do you think they are?
When they just leave out a word completely?
Exactly. The word is in the text, but they're not reading it, skipping over it. And insertions?
Would it be adding a word?
Exactly. The word is not in the text, and the child would add a word. And we have also the quality of reading. Fluency. What do you think fluency is?
Without hesitation, reading smoothly?
Exactly. And if they're not reading smoothly, then they are hesitating, and it would be weak in the code here, because we have weak, fair, and good. And you'll have a sense for that, like it's not something cut dry. It's just a sense of how the child reads. And the expression?
It's lively, they stop at periods, with question mark.
Exactly. With intonation. Yeah. Speed?
A good steady speed, possibly?
Yeah, exactly. If it's too slow, or medium speed, or just a good speed. Okay, normal speed. And then the comprehension, as we saw with Jean-Luc, summary of the book, comprehension questions, and vocabulary, new words. So those are the areas for the evaluation. So what we're going to do, we're going to practice with a student and a tutor.
Leila, on va lire ce livre.
Oui.
Ok, tu peux commencer?
J'ai un rube. Atchoum. Je n'arrête pas d'éternuer. S'il te plaît, donne un mouche. J'ai un rhume. Un de vrai bouche. J'ai le nez qui coule. J'ai les yeux tout gonflent.
We are now going to discuss the results. Did you find the session difficult to listen to and to mark down the errors?
Yes.
Not
yes.
easy, huh?
Well, I think she made a number of mistakes, and I was wondering, would that have been the first time she read that book, or had the tutor or Coral read with her previously?
Well, for the evaluation, a good question.
Yes.
For the evaluation, it's a new book, completely new book in the same series, same level as the student was reading. But they should not have read the book before.
Okay.
So because we want to make sure the level is the right one.
Okay.
But this is just a practice here. Usually the children don't make that many mistakes. So could we look at the first one that you encountered?
The first one I had was in the title, and I put repetition.
Yes, it's what I did as well.
Yeah.
Good. In the next one, which one did you see?
Achum.
Yes. And did you mark that as a repetition as well?
Well, a mistake. It was a pronunciation initially. wasn't
Achum.
it?
And then
Achum.
after
And then
finally?
repetition.
Then a
Yes.
repetition.
Yes. So it
Okay.
becomes a repetition because she
Right.
self-corrected
Okay.
herself.
Okay. So did you mark that as both?
No, just once.
Oh, okay.
You know, like you can cross out, you know, like
Oh,
what
okay.
she said, and then just put an R on top.
Okay.
Okay. And the next one that you saw?
There was something with a ret. A
Yes.
repetition. Did she repeat a little
Yeah,
bit?
that is true.
On a
Is
right?
it what you have?
I missed that one.
I
I,
missed that
didn't
one
have
too.
anything.
Okay. No, there was a repetition there.
Mhm.
And then the next one?
Éterné? Yeah.
Yeah, éterneux.
Okay.
Éterneux. Yeah, she didn't say A
Mhm.
at the end.
Right. Okay. I thought it was just éterné.
Yeah, and did you notice throughout the text that she missed, you know, all the A's?
Okay.
Huh? So that this one is a decoding error. It's a misreading for the category pronunciation.
Okay.
And then she said
Play. S'il te plaît was
Yeah,
the.
she said s'il te plaît.
te plaît,
So
right.
you have two
Right.
misreadings here in terms of pronunciation. And then?
She omitted moi, didn't she?
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Mhm.
you're right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Uh-huh. She said donne un
Mouche or
mouche.
Mhm.
Mouche.
Yeah.
And what are you going to categorize this one?
pronunciation.
Yeah.
or-
Pronunciation.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
hard to debate this one because
Mhm.
mouche is a real word.
Yeah.
Oh, so
So
substitution.
it could be a substitution as
Yeah,
well,
right.
right?
Yeah.
But does it make sense in the text?
No.
No, it doesn't make sense. So, you know, like you can decide it could be, you know, for the child, it could be if she's not sure what she's reading, mouche makes more sense for her than mouchoir because she may not know the word mouchoir.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay? Then we have j'ai un.
Rue.
Mhm. And it's a
Substitution, was it? Or
I had
Uh,
repetition.
repetition.
Oh, okay.
Yes, repetition. And then?
I had an insertion.
Mhm.
Yes,
De.
very good.
Un
Because
de.
it was
De.
yeah, it was not easy to pick up, you know. And the next one was
I wondered about gross.
Yes,
Was
yeah.
it miss?
mispronounced
Mispronounced?
because gros usually for masculine and,
And
gros in a lot of students in French immersion they make that mistake because in English you pronounce the S's at the end of words, but in French you don't pronounce them unless you have a vowel. The next one was
Oreille instead of oreille.
Yeah, so-
so the next one that I
Okay. we missed
saw
one.
it was rhume, but she said rhume. She couldn't because
Okay.
see, she was able to decipher rhume, you know, like at the beginning, un de vrai gros, and then she automatically said rhume. She didn't see that there was a B there. So this one will be a misreading in terms of pronunciation. And the next one,
Oreille.
yes, she said oreille first, and then repeat,
sub.
self-corrected, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay, right.
And the next one would be
Boucher. Was that?
boucher, and she said bouche. And again, this one could be a misreading in terms of pronunciation or substitution because bouche is a real word. It makes sense in terms of a word, but in the context, it doesn't make sense. So you can decide which way you want to go on this one. And then, j'ai le nez qui.
I didn't have anything for
I
that.
had
one.
an
I lost
R,
track.
but
Yes,
Was it-
cool. Yes, she repeated cool twice. Yeah.
Okay. So, repetition.
And then, j'ai les yeux tout.
Gonfle.
Gonfle
Right.
again, the same type of mistakes as previously done. like the accent aigu E pronounced as a E.
Would that be a substitution?
No,
Would that
this would
if it's
be, you know, like a misreading,
Oh, misreading,
in
okay.
terms of pronunciation.
Okay.
Because she did this mistake all throughout the text with the A. And what about if we look at the quality of reading? What do you think would be the quality of reading of Leila here? In terms of fluency, is it weak, fair, or good?
Yeah.
Would have said weak, maybe.
Well,
But
the fluency
Weak.
was. Do you mean the fluency?
Fluency, you know, like she hesitated a lot. She had a lot of misreadings. So I think it would be between weak and fair, but more in the weak side. Huh? It's a child that has a lot of difficulties. In the expression, was she expressive? Was it weak, fair, or good?
Weak, I guess.
I would say
Weak,
weak. Yeah.
weak, because when a child makes a lot of mistakes like that, the expression is gone usually. What they think of is just reading the words, not thinking about the text. It's why also when the substitutions are made, they don't make sense.
right.
To get back to the fluency, so it's sort of like I was thinking when she was reading, I mean, at least she was able
True,
to
me
read
too,
the
moving
words,
along.
but it has nothing to do with that. It's in relation to this is her level and she should be able to read at that level fluently.
fluently.
Okay.
Yes.
Because speed then is not slow, because she wasn't slow enough for me,
Okay,
as
so
far as,
you can put
you know,
average,
I think, yeah.
Okay, for that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've seen kids, you know, like they read even normal speed, but they make so many mistakes,
Exactly.
yeah. So the speed, it's not, you know, depending on the number of errors. And we didn't go into the comprehension because you had the previous session dealing with that.
So generally, they would move on to the next level. You in your notes, would
but
you write that?
yes, but for this child, what do you think?
Probably stay at the same level.
Yeah, same level, or maybe try a lower level
Right.
to have more success, because you want children to have success. And they should read at their instructional level, which is about a few mistakes in a text. So she had quite a few. So you would say it was a frustration level, and she should move down a level. But usually in the program, the children make just a few mistakes and they can move on.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
they would be at a different level
Yeah.
to start with.
So
Yeah.
when you write this down, do you suggest that to the child to pick a lower level, or do you get
No,
their tutor?
You get the
Tutor
you
to
talk to the
suggest.
tutor for that, yeah. And the child, the tutor will convey that to the student.
Does the tutor do an evaluation as well?
They do the record keeping?
Well, I'm
That
wondering, the
was-
parent does an evaluation.
Yeah.
Does the tutor do any
Okay.
evaluation?
No, they don't do
No.
an evaluation like this, but in their record keeping,
Yes.
they have, you know, like the misreadings. They will put them in a little box for words mispronounced and the new vocabulary, and they will, you know, like write the quality of the reading, you know, like
So
in
in the
general.
form of an evaluation,
Yeah,
it's
it's
their
in
own. It's the
formal.
white sheets, right? And then when
Yes.
it gets to the orange sheets.
Oh, yes, the white one's
Yeah.
in the binder. Okay,
Yes.
right. And then when it gets to the orange sheet, it's the parent.
It's ours.
Yeah.
Or the teacher. Or
Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay.
Any more questions?